and this is my video blog number 2. Let me tell you a little bit about my video blogs. My video blogs are going to be designed as a way to give you a glimpse in the day in the life of a story consultant. And my motivation for doing this is to help pass story tips forward that I learn either from watching TV, going to the movies, or from giving notes in my story consults. And I want to be able to pass tools forward to you that may help you with your creative process. So my week, this is what's going on this week. I am going to be speaking on a panel at the Writer's Store on February 23rd with other authors, other screenwriting authors, on the Oscar-nominated movies. So I obviously had to go see the movies I haven't seen yet. I had seen many of them, but I had to see 3 more this week, and I am going to speak with you about those movies and some of the things I noticed. This is just to give you a little taste of what is going to go on February 23rd. Would love for you to come by the Writer's Store and see this panel. So the movies that I saw this week were Warhorse, and I keep forgetting the name, and Extremely Loud and Incredibly Close, and Hugo. And what I noticed, and I also noticed this in another movie that I had already seen that is nominated, Moneyball. And what I noticed in 3 of these 4 movies is that the external goal is not clear in 3 of the movies. And because of that, I feel that it stops the film from being as great as it could be. And when the external goal is applied, I felt that it makes the story work so much better from moment number 1. So the 3 films that I feel could have been stronger if they had had very clear external stakes set from the beginning. The first one would be Moneyball. And in Moneyball, I think that there are many poignant moments. It's a great movie. I highly recommend it. I feel that because the external stakes were not clear with regards to what was the worst that could happen if the goal were not achieved, we never really felt that Brad Pitt's character could be fired. So the closing in aspect of this, I missed and felt that it could have made it a much stronger film, but I, again, love this film and think it's fantastic. So my thought is just the recognition of looking at the external stakes and recognizing what that can do to help give the story momentum from the very first moment. The second movie that I noticed that the external stakes were not clear was Hugo. And in Hugo, what I noticed is it was, again, a beautiful film and some very heartfelt moments, and I understand why it is up for the Oscar. I do feel that the story was very, very slow, because we did not have a sense of what was the worst that could happen if the boy did not get his book of drawings back. It did not become clear what those stakes were until very, very late in the movie. And had that been set from the beginning, I think it would have made a very big difference in the story. Again, I think Hugo is a great movie that has a lot of emotional depth, but by setting stronger external stakes from the beginning, I think it could have been an even stronger movie. And then the third movie with regards to external stakes is Extremely Loud and Incredibly Close. This movie is so deep and so emotional. The last third of this movie will just hit you like a ton of bricks, because it is about a young boy processing loss and trying to make sense of the nonsensical, and dealing and going on an external journey to find where the key fits that he found in his dead father's closet, who died in 9/11. So the reason I feel that the first half of this film was very, very slow story-wise was because the stakes were so internal. The worst had happened with the father dying, and the boy was on this journey to find the lock that fit the key, and this really slowed the momentum down because we really didn't understand what the external stakes were if the boy did not find where the key fit. And again, I think it became a little more clear very late in the movie, and the last third of the movie is excellent. It is really a movie that I think will affect everyone who sees it, and death is going to be a part of all of our lives. So I definitely think this is a very important movie for people to see who want to know what it is to try to make sense of loss. And the last movie that I feel really exemplified the idea that when you set strong external stakes from the beginning, the story will work from moment one, and that is the movie Warhorse. I feel that Warhorse is brilliant. Steven Spielberg directed it. It is a moving story that from the beginning, when the father buys a horse that is much more expensive than he can afford, and we learn that what is the worst that can happen is he could lose his farm and everything he worked for his family. So with this dilemma, his son says he will train the horse, and the horse that was bought was not even a plow horse, and a plow horse is what they needed to be able to make money on their property. So we know from the very get-go there are tremendous external stakes in that every time we cut to a visual of their beautiful property, we know that that is what is at stake if this horse doesn't produce in the way that they need it to produce so that they can bring money in. And this starts the story in a very strong place from the beginning that veers off into other directions as we see the horse be used as a protagonist, which was excellent. So this is an example of a movie where external stakes set in the beginning really made a very big difference in the outcome of the movie. Setting external stakes is it starts the story off in a very strong place. It makes us root for the goal to be achieved because we understand what is the worst that can happen if the goal is not achieved. So this is something I want you to think about in your writing. And you may want to come by. I am going to be doing a TV Writers Summit on February 11th and 12th. This is also an opportunity for you to learn more about what I teach with story. I will be there with 3 other speakers, Chad Gurvich, Ellen Sandler, and Troy DeVoyd. And we will be covering television from top to bottom with regards to writing spec scripts, pilot scripts, and the whole process of working in television with staffing and development, as well as reality and new media. So I do highly, highly recommend that event. You could find information on that either on my website or going to the website www.tvwriterssummit.com. Okay, this is Jen Grisanti of Jen Grisanti Consultancy, Inc.